Big move by the Trump administration is now reshaping legal immigration in the United States. Today, the Trump administration begins an indefinite pause on immigrant visa processing for people from 75 countries worldwide, and that ban applies to immigrant visas for people sponsored by U.S. relatives or employers to move to the United States permanently.
The new ban builds on already restrictive immigration changes under the Trump administration, and for the first time, it includes the removal of exemptions for children adopted by American families from banned or partially restricted countries. Some are now pleading with the administration to help bring their children home.
Dear President Trump, my name is Harry Ann, 6 years old. We are the Wilson family and we are stuck in Nigeria. We can't come home to America because you said my sibling Ollie is not allowed to come with us. Ollie is my baby. Ollie belongs to our family.
So the clip you just saw was from the Wilson family. Parents James and Kaylee Wilson are joining us now to discuss the impact of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown on your family and hundreds of other families also in limbo. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us on to share our story.
So I understand your most recent adoption was in March of last year. The whole family went to Nigeria. But when did you learn of the immigration bans that went into effect and really the impact it was going to have on you all?
I mean, we just learned about it when it came out in the first week of January.
Right.
We actually heard about it through an Instagram comment. We knew about the ban, but we had no idea that it would affect us because in the whole history, adoption visas have never been banned before. There's always been an exemption for adopted children. And so we weren't too concerned when we heard about it at first, and then we realized that there was no exemption.
Now, you just talked about this. It's kind of caught you off guard because this has never happened before. So what is this like emotionally and logistically to be stuck in Nigeria waiting without any clear answers?
Oh, it's, we've really had to work with coming to terms with that and just what does that mean for us to be here long term as a family. Thankfully, home is wherever we are together, and you know, we homeschool our kids. We're a very close-knit, bonded family. And so I'm just grateful that we all get to be together. But just getting to that place in our minds and going to that place of surrender so that we can just continue on, because we don't want to live in survival mode. We want to actually be able to live our life here. And so that's kind of the hard part of just getting to that place in our minds of we're not going home soon. We're not going to see our pets soon. We're not going to see our friends soon, and just coming to terms with that reality.
You know, I'm curious here, have you received any guidance or any clarity from U.S. officials essentially about what happens next? And is there any kind of appeal process, you know, for other families who might be in your situation?
Right, so we are working with our senator from Missouri, and there are Congress people all throughout the U.S. who are all getting pleas from other families. There's over 300 families that are in the process right now internationally, 18 of which have reached out to us directly so that we can try to share their stories as well. But ultimately, it comes down to what the president has proclaimed. There have been lawsuits in the past for things like this with the immigration bans or the travel bans, and so that's a possibility, but that's a months-long process. And that kind of brings us back to your original question about the logistics. Where does that put us logistically as a family living overseas with, you know, a life in America as U.S. citizens, just constantly looking to the future of there's these documents in this process that we're doing, this visa process, that will expire, you know, and we're going to have to renew things. And to do that, it will mean separating our family again if we get put into that position. And ultimately, in our heart, we don't want to separate from our family. In the same way, I wouldn't want to leave behind any one of my children. I'm not going to want to leave behind this most recent child. It's they're part of my family.
All right, for those who are watching right now, from U.S. lawmakers to the average person with a family out there, anybody out there who is watching, what do you hope that they take away from hearing your story this morning?
Well, we really do want to give people hope.
Right.
You know, we believe that God called us to this specific child, and he will finish what he started. So first of all, we just want to give a message of hope that our children are worth fighting for. No matter how your child joins your family, whether biological or adopted, they are always worth fighting for. And that's something that we decided at the beginning of every single one of our adoptions, because this is our third adoption. And we always knew that we were willing to fight for each child, whatever that means, whatever it takes. And so that's what I would say to other families stuck. Don't give up. Just keep fighting. Let's keep using our platforms to share the stories, and eventually there has to be change.
Absolutely.
All right, James and Kaylee Wilson, look, we're thinking of you all. We're thinking of your family. Thank you for the conversation this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, be well.